ASCSU meets again and discusses legislation about inclusivity.
City Council was in session and passed an proclamation.
All that and more from the people you know, starting now on CTV.
Hello and welcome to CTV News. I'm Sunday Miller.
And I'm Isabella Roberts. And here's what's happening in the news near you.
Today is International Women's Day, which celebrates the social, economic, and cultural and political achievements of women globally. The campaign theme this year is Press for Progress, a call to action to press forward and progress towards gender equality. Global activism is being fueled by movements like #MeToo. CSU and the School of Global Environmental Sustainability hosted a Managing the Planet panel led by 4 female scientists who discussed the pressing challenges facing humanity today and how these issues can be mitigated through the empowerment and education of women.
Welcome to Managing the Planet. This is put on by the School of Global Environmental Sustainability here at Colorado State University.
Once you give voice, once you start having those conversations, it can lead towards change, and it might not be immediate. Chances are it won't, but you're planting seeds, and that's really important.
Right? We have control over this, right? Every opportunity that there's an award, nominate a woman for it, right? So there is this structure, but each of us can individually push women into the positions we want to see them in.
You guys did an excellent job. Thank you all for coming.
I think women were really, hopefully all people were, but I think the women were really energized. I think it was really a lot of positive talk, even when we were talking about some negative, experiences. I think we were talking about how we can turn to mentors, to colleagues, how we can find resources.
And so we need to look at how women are positioned in different ways, that the sort of inequalities that we observe and the problems that we are trying to solve are interconnected, and that we really have to take this integrated approach to gender.
For more information on this global holiday, you can visit internationalwomensday.com.
Several pieces of legislation about inclusivity were presented at ASCSU last evening.
At ASCSU last night, 2 pieces of legislation related to inclusivity were brought to the floor. First was a bill to formalize the Women's Caucus that has been around ASCSU this semester, and it was brought forward by these 2, Speaker Isabel Brown and Senator Mira Sharif.
It's very bipartisan, and I would like to encourage everyone in this organization to support the voices of the many young women from many backgrounds and political affiliations in this room, speaking up and saying the time is now to change our internal culture in ASCSU.
Second was a resolution calling for more religious exemption in syllabi on campus, brought forward by only Senator Sharif.
Some of the goals for this piece of legislation is really to facilitate conversation between student and professor and make students aware of their resources and their rights to a fair academic evaluation.
Sharif told CTV that both pieces of legislation were brought forward based on her personal experiences and those that others have experienced within the ASCSU Senate body.
I want to empower other people to feel that they don't need to have other people speak for them, that they can be their most authentic self and be organic and talk about the things that they're passionate about in the most authentic capacity of their identity, and that we will value their identity and their representation and their input exactly how they are, so they don't have to do that like I did it.
This is Stuart Smith, CTV 11.
The religious exemption piece is just a resolution, so if passed, it will simply showcase ASCSU's support on the issue.
Fort Collins police arrested suspect Roger Allen Brown for a stabbing that occurred yesterday midday at Eastside Park. The suspect was located in the area and arrested on the charge of attempted second-degree murder and first-degree assault. This case is under active investigation, and anyone with information is encouraged to reach out at www.stopcriminals.org.
The Fort Collins City Council passed the 2 proclamations focused on women this Tuesday night. Wade Troxel, mayor of the city of Fort Collins, declared the month of March 2018 as Women's History Month and the week of March 8th of 2018 as Women of Aviation Worldwide Week. The Women and Gender Collaborative at CSU was among the group of women accepting the proclamations.
So we are happy to accept this and certainly support all of the contributions of women in our community, and especially women in the fields of science where they're not
proclamations were issued by the Fort Collins Women's Commission, who focus on enhancing the status and opportunities for all women in the city.
As registration for fall semester approaches, the Office of Financial Aid at CSU announced a new payment plan, letting students pay their bill for the 2018-2019 academic year in monthly installments rather than in one lump sum. Tom Bidensheed, the director of the Office of Financial Aid, wrote in an email to the Collegian, "We believe it can serve as a viable option for students and families to more easily cover the gap between what financial aid, work, and other resources does not cover on their bill." For each fall or spring term, a maximum of 6 payments is allowed. However, the summer 2018 term is not included in this plan.
After the Parkland, Florida school shooting, we decided to ask students how they felt about campus safety here at CSU.
We advocate 3 different principles, and those principles, quite simply, and they're easy to remember, they're 3 words: run, hide, and fight.
In regards to campus safety, Chief Harris urges students to take advantage of the resources that CSU offers, including the emergency blue light phones located around campus, and safe walk when faced with any emergency situation.
To be honest, I guess I don't really know what CSUPD does to maintain safety, or does not do.
Generally, I think they're doing a fine job.
Huge issue of gun violence that's raging across the United States. And there is nothing that CSUPD is doing. At least within communications-wise. Like, do I know what to do if a shooter comes and comes into my classroom or onto the campus? It's like, I have no idea.
During the Poudre School District Board of Education meeting, Fort Collins School Resource Officer Sergeant Laura Lunsford explained what officers do to keep schools safe, including the annual assailant training and the addition of single officer tactics.
I can tell you that I have received countless calls and emails since the Florida shooting to ask what we as SROs do to keep our kids safe, and that is as specific to our community. What I want everyone in the room to know is that PSD has taken a very active role in partnering with us as officers to ensure your children's safety. Nationally, I believe they are far ahead of the curve in the training that they receive.
Both CSU Police Department and Fort Collins Police Department ask that students report their concerns.
If they see changes in behavior with friends or people that they may know that concern them, not to just keep it to themselves, but to report it to the police so that we can take a look at it to see if there's something that we can do.
For more information, you can go to police.colostate.edu.
Reporter Isabella Roberts sat down with the director of Ombuds and the Employee Assistant Program, as well as the manager of the Mental Health Infantries, in lieu of the March 1st email sent out to students and faculty regarding mental health.
An email was sent out to both students and faculty on March 1st regarding mental health.
This past academic year has been difficult for our campus, and we really wanted to send a communication that helped to really encourage anyone on our campus community to reach out if they were struggling. We know that if we can really promote help-seeking attitudes, whether that's if you need help with the class and decide to seek a tutor, or you decide to go to office hours and speak with your professor, or even deciding that counseling services would be a benefit to you, we really wanted to help send that message. We know that there are many stresses and anxieties facing our students, and we believe that there are really a lot of rich resources on our campus if only we can get students to really access those and recognize that so many of their peers are doing the same.
Students receive 5 free sessions if they're taking 6 credits or more.
So actually 2 emails went out. One went to students and then one went to faculty and staff. And the purpose of the one going to faculty and staff was to educate them about resources available to them if they're struggling with mental health issues or need resources. We have a lot of services for students, but a lot of our employees don't know that that many resources are also available to them. And so we wanted to communicate that, and also to let faculty and staff know what the student resources are, recognizing that faculty and staff often have interactions, obviously, with students, and so we wanted them to be aware of the whole range of services available to all of our CSU population.
Drop-ins are Monday through Friday and are always free.
The key is that you do something active towards managing your stress. whether that's taking an intentional study break, or choosing to have dinner with your friends, or listening to music, taking a walk, going to the gym. All those things are important, and they can all benefit you in times of stress. The most important thing is that you choose to do something. We've seen a pretty impressive increase in the utilization of counseling services over the last several years, and that's a trend that's happening across the country, but it's certainly happening here at CSU. And to me, that's such a great sign that students are really embracing the idea that if you need help, you get help, and we're really encouraged by these numbers.
If you know someone that's struggling or would like to discover what resources the Health Center has to offer, you can contact health.colostate.edu. Well, that's all we have for news.
Stay tuned for weather, sports, and entertainment right after this.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said Bob couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I always wanted to be.
Welcome back from break, Rams. I'm weather entertaining Kozer. It was a warm start to our Thursday, but will it continue into spring break? Let's find out. Looking at your current temps, 32 degrees, mostly clear, and your gusts are at 9 miles an hour. Looking at your overnight highs, into the mountains, we're going to see some 20s and low teens with Grand Junction at 33. Very pleasant out there. Looking on your I-25 corridor, we're going to see some 30s with Denver at 37. Looking onto your plains, we see some 30s with Lamar at 24. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be warm in the mountains with 50s and 40s. 63 out in Grand Junction. On the I-25 corridor, we're going to see some 60s with 70 in Pueblo. Looking on the plains, we're going to see some 60s with Lamar at 72. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be sunny, bright, 65 degrees, another pleasant day to go out and enjoy some outdoor activities. More with that with Ryan coming up in entertainment. Sunny, sunrise at 6:21 a.m. Looking at your 5-day forecast, Saturday, it's going to be cloudy. There's going to be some winds, a little bit of sun. Sunday will be more of your pleasant day to just go out and enjoy some outdoor activities with 53 degrees. Start of your spring break, it's going to be in the 50s. Looking at your 5-day planner, in the morning, it's going to be 41, waking up, sunny, bright. Around lunchtime, 56 degrees. The winds come up at 14 miles an hour. That sun stays around with you till the afternoon. The wind comes up again with some clouds, but it's going to be 13 degrees, 59. Coming up next is Jared with sports, talking about men's basketball and women's basketball.
Are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Mean Beat,
DJ Nightshade, DJ Wildcard. Music to me is one of the best creative outlets that I can think of. An escape from the real world. Music to me is an expression of love. To go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova with music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to
Welcome back from the break into the Thursday Night Sports Show. I'm Jared Stratton, here to catch you up on CSU athletics. Yesterday was the annual pro day for the CSU football players. 15 players took part in the pro day and 40 NFL representatives were present from a combined 31 teams. Current Browns wide receiver and former CSU Ram Rashard Higgins was present during the pro day to watch the players. Sydney Wicker and Brian Buck have more on the story.
Hey there, Rams. I'm Sydney Wicker.
And I'm Brian Buck.
And we are out here at the CSU indoor facility where we just watched the CSU Rams wrap up their pro day. Brian, let's break this down and talk about all that happened today.
Yeah, well, some of the big names performed well. Michael Gallup, of course, the big one, expected to go at least by the end of day 2 in the NFL draft. He looked solid all around and improved on his 40 time. He ran a 4.51 40 at the NFL Combine this past weekend, but improved it today, running a 4.45 by some scouts measure, which isn't necessarily a huge step forward, but is definitely something to show scouts. He's not just a normal speed guy. He's a pretty fast guy, and he wanted scouts to know that, so it's good that he did that. Stevens, the quarterback, the big name, of course, he did well in terms of showing scouts that he's increased his ball velocity and bulked up a bit, but Stevens' real strength is his mental game, which he didn't get to put on showcase today here, but he did talk to some scouts and learned what he wanted to learn going forward. And Jake Bennett, the offensive lineman, who looks like he might be a late round selection, did a good job in terms of his on-field drills, but like Stevens, what he has really going for him is his mental strength and what a lot of people have called a mean streak. He did only do 14 reps in the bench, which isn't great for an interior lineman, but I think Jake Bennett still has a lot going for him and still has a great chance to be drafted in April.
Yes, I definitely agree with you there. I know Michael Gallup was super excited when we talked to him a little bit. He's ready for this and ready for that next step. But I know some things that we heard from Nick Stevens were that the scouts were telling him he needs to bulk up a little bit and get ready for this next step if he wants to be drafted. So I think those are some things that are definitely going to be affecting him over the next couple days and some things that he'll be thinking about.
Yeah, of course. He'll definitely be working on that stuff going forward, and he's said he's been talking to scouts. He knows what they want from him, and he's going to put that on show for them. He's going to show them that that's what he's been working on. Some other guys, though, that have been doing well, Dietrich Clark and Dalen Dawkins, who were pretty good players at CSU while they were here. Dalen Dawkins actually third all-time on the CSU rushing yards list with 3,135 yards. He looked really good today. He ran a 4.52 40, which is really solid for a small running back. He looked great in some of the passing drills, catching a lot of balls, which is something he was kind of underrated here at CSU in doing. I think he's going to shine at the next level with that. I think he put his case out there to make a roster or at least get invited somewhere in the NFL. And Dietrich Clark was the guy who really stole the cake today. A 4.38 40-yard dash, which is really stellar. A lot of scouts sometimes don't even care what you can do on the football field. If you can run a sub 4.4, they're going to want you in their camp come in the summer. And he looked good in drills too, caught some really nice balls, and he showed us that he's ready to compete, and I think he has a great chance to make an NFL roster as well. Sometimes you're not going to be the wide receiver that you want to be, but special teams for a guy that can run that fast, for a guy that moves that well, is definitely an option, and making that roster is the first step.
Yes, I know for sure. Dalen Dawkins is someone that we saw who's progressive throughout the whole season here at CSU and throughout his career here at CSU. So looking forward into his next step in the NFL. This is going to be huge for him, and hopefully we can see him continue to do well. Same with Clark, like you said, he had one of the fastest times out here today. That's awesome for him. Something these scouts are definitely going to be looking at. All right, Rams, that's all we have for you, but thanks for tuning into CTV Sports. I'm Sydney Wicker.
And I'm Brian Buck.
The CSU men's basketball team lost in the first round of the Mountain West tournament to the Utah State Aggies. The Rams held the lead for a majority of the game, but let up in the second half, losing 76-65. The Rams only shot 39% from the field, while the Aggies shot a strong 50%. For the entire game, the Aggies also had 10 more rebounds than the Rams, making it difficult for CSU to make a full comeback. It was unfortunately Che Bob's last game for the Rams, with his last 2 seasons playing for CSU. This will be an interesting offseason for the Rams, especially for the head coach position. The NBA Spurs assistant coach, Becky Hammon, has been rumored to be the top candidate for the position, which would make her the first full-time female head coach in D1 men's basketball history. Nothing has been officially confirmed by the team, and athletic director Joe Parker is still searching for the Rams head coach for the future. The CSU women's basketball team also played in the Mountain West Championships in Las Vegas, and they won their first game against Fresno State this Tuesday, but lost in the semifinals this Wednesday. The Rams lost 76-51 against the first seed Boise State Broncos. Hannah Taverdi led the Rams with 18 points, but was the only Ram with above 8 points. The Rams also shot only 34% from the field, while the Broncos were shooting just above 50%. After the game, head coach Ryan Williams had a message for his 3 graduating seniors. I think the compliment I can give them is that they're leaving here. A kid like Stina, a kid like Taverdi, a kid like Veronica. They took no shortcuts. It's human nature to take shortcuts. They put in effort every single day. They committed to our program. They gave us everything that they could. And we just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Head coach Ryan Williams will look to lead the Rams further in the Mountain West Championships next season, which will be his 7th season with the Rams. Well, that's all the sports I have for today, but make sure to check Collegian.com and CTV Channel 11 on YouTube for the latest in CSU athletics. I'm Jared Stratton, and up next is Ryan Chris with Spring Break Entertainment.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
What's up, Rams? My name's Ryan Christ, and we're back on another fantastic Thursday before we head off to spring break. And speaking of spring break, let's jump into all things you can do over this break. We all know the struggle of getting home after a long midterms week and lying on the couch and thinking, cool, so what now? Here are 3 things to do in Fort Collins while everyone is away for spring break. Number 1 is homework. Just kidding, we'll save that for 8 a.m. on Monday before class. The real number 1 is going out to Horsetooth. As weather anchor Keenan said, it's going to be so nice this spring break, so get out there and enjoy the nice weather before we're forced to stay inside. Number 2 is Fat Tire Friday at New Belgium. They have live music every Friday, so whether you can drink or not, you can come to New Belgium and listen to Cody Jeffries and Sawmill Joe. Lastly, of course, I can't talk about spring break without talking about St. Patrick's Day. Fort Collins will be having their annual parade, and we'll have live music in the Old Town Square all day. As well as a parade and live music, almost every bar in town is having some sort of special event or drink that night. If any of you out there are out of state and will miss out on this fun spring break events, don't worry, because here are 2 things you can look forward to when you come back to school. Right when we come back, the UCA's Music in the Museum event will be going on, where you can come and listen to music collaborations of faculty and students to learn all about the history of the Gallagher Art Museum. The week after we get back, on March 25th, the annual CSU TEDx Talks will be held here on campus in the Laurie Student Center Theater. 9 live talks will be featured, and the theme of this year's event is What If? And all the talks will exhibit and provoke the thought of what if. Colorado's water is one of the best, and at this pub talk, that is exactly what they were talking about.
If you know anything about Colorado, it's that we have great water and even better beer. But these 2 might be more closely related than you think. At Odell Brewing, they had a pub talk where members from the City of Wastewater Management in Fort Collins came in to talk about how Odell and other bars are helping out with wastewater.
The brewery waste program is trying to get carbon, additional carbon into the secondary wastewater process to facilitate the phosphorus, the biological phosphorus and nitrogen removal from the wastewater and keep it out of the receiving water.
So how does Odell and other bars play a part in wastewater management?
We reached a certain size. The amount of waste that we were putting down the lines was causing fluctuations with the wastewater treatment plant. So we had to do something to alleviate that pressure on the plant.
How Odell decided to relieve pressure on the water treatment plant is much like separating your trash. They separated their waste into two categories, one that goes down the line and one that goes to the treatment plant.
We feel it's very important to partner with them because it's a better use for our waste. It's not land applying it is a use, but it ends up getting into the watershed a little bit faster. And in working with the city, we'll help them reduce costs in having to use additional chemicals to try and make the nitrogen and phosphorus levels down to EPA standards.
The Cache Laputa River will hold an event on March 31st where you can hang out, drink beer, and learn more about this cause. Emojis, that thing you send when you're too lazy to actually type out the full sentence. Yeah, those things have been recently added to Dictionary.com, which provides their true meaning and uses. Dictionary.com defended this because they believe that emojis are being used as words in communication. So don't they deserve their own definition? Well, that's a true statement. Emojis are up to interpretation that you can't just look at a definition for. For example, one that's popularly searched was the upside-down smiley face. The definition is sometimes known as the upside-down smiley face. It has several meanings depending on the context or the personality of the user. It can indicate silliness, sarcasm, passive aggression, or frustrated resignation. Outside these, this emoji can be used for even more ambiguous emotions. I don't know about you, but I'm even more confused after reading that definition. I mean, silliness to frustration, those are two very different emotions. But if you're ever texting and lost on an emoji meaning, head to dictionary.com. At least one thing's for sure, we all know the eggplant is still just a vegetable. Well, Rams, that's all the time I have for you tonight. Make sure to stay tuned when we come back from spring break, and have a great night, Rams.